Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Cop Council. How are we all? Hopefully, all of you are having a fantastic day from wherever you are around the world. And welcome back to another Liverpool news episode for you guys this evening. And yes, as you can tell by the thumbnail and the title, of course, we are going to be talking about Bayern Munich and Holland midfielder Ryan Gravenberch. Yes, the Dutch midfielder has been I'd say the biggest talking point in the last 24 hours when it comes to Liverpool news, anyway. And of course, there has been plenty of news when it has come to Ryan Gravenberch as well. But it's not only him, of course, we're going to be speaking about, of course, Alexis McAllister as well. And of course, we'll also be speaking about Nikolai Barella as well in tonight's episode. And of course, if there is any other breaking news or any of that good stuff, we'll let you guys know in due course as well. But of course, as you can see, I am joined by a very special guest, and that is Jack from Anfield Road TV. Jack, how are you doing, mate?
Oh, I said, yeah, of course. Nice one, that. And hopefully, chat has had a fantastic weekend. Some great football. Obviously, I did have Connor on my show this evening, so if you haven't seen that, go and check it out. And just talked all things Premier League. But yeah, massive thank you, mate, for having me on. And Ryan Gravenberch, bloody steal that. That's what I'm saying now.
Well, we are going to talk a bit about him as well, guys, and let us know your guys' thoughts as well in the comment section down below. If there is anyone new around you as well, please don't forget to hit that like button. Please don't forget that subscribe button as well. Again, we're on the road to 1K before the end of the season, if we could do that anyway, as well. But Raj is in saying big up as well. Doug is in saying good evening. Tom's in saying yes, the fellas. Hello, Tom. Italio Reds as well. Says Gary. Raj saying Gravenberch for 25 million. I would take that good price as well. Absolutely. Will Klopp switch to a 4-4-2? It's only time will tell, Gary, but I don't think so either. And of course, Eamon is in as well, saying, oh, all right, Connor and Jack as well. But of course, they obviously, like I said, there is news concerning Alexis McAllister as well, which of course is a little bit breaking, but not really anyway. But we are going to start tonight's show and talk about, of course, the main man. Ryan Gravenberch, of course, has been rumoured to be, of course, Liverpool ramping up interest in the Dutch midfielder. Of course, Jonathan Northcroft last night tweeted out saying Liverpool step up interest in Ryan Gravenberch. He did go on to also add that, of course, Liverpool have stepped up their interest in Ryan Gravenberch as they look to press ahead quickly with plans to rebuild the midfield. A representative of the club was in Holland on Tuesday for talks with Gravenberch's father, who mentors the player's career. And of course, this was also backed up by a £25 million fee or price tag that was put up upon him as well. And as well, it was also confirmed by David Ornstein as well tonight, confirming exactly the same stuff, where it was Liverpool have held a meeting with Ryan Gravenberch's representatives as well. And Jack, just the news of it, of course, with Gravenberch, I think pretty much all of us was surprised and shocked when that £25 million fee came up, and everyone was like, "Oh, that's a bit cheap for a player that's, of course, just moved to Bayern Munich, of course, in the last 12 months." But judging from the situation and judging from a few, Bayern videos that I've watched, it seems like the player doesn't want to be there, or it feels like there's definitely something where the player wants to go somewhere else and play football somewhere else in terms of meaning and so on as well.
Yeah.
But what are your, first of all, overall thoughts with the link of Ryan Gravenberch and the price tag in itself?
Price tag, tremendous value for money. In today's current climate, as we do find ourselves in, and we all watched that Jurgen Klopp interview. I spoke about it last night, mate. If we were back like we are with City or Newcastle, then we could go and splash £100 million on a midfielder. Sadly, that's not the case, and we've known for a very long time with FSG what we need to start doing now, mate, in chats, is we need to be sensible. And of course, first and foremost, we need to be clever in this current market. We've seen the predicament in which Manchester City, Chelsea, in terms of them spending 600 million like it's going out of fashion. Look how bad they've been playing. Look how the turmoil as a football club. They have been, look at Tottenham, they're an absolute bloody mess. For 25 million in today's current climate and market is superb bit of business. And as I was speaking about last night on last night's show to everyone in the comments, you don't end up at Ajax or in their academy if you're not a half decent footballer. Technically, he sounds, and obviously you've got your statistics and everything that you'll bring up in a bit. But I think 25 million. Who are we as supporters, Liverpool fans, to go, oh, turn our noses up at this opportunity? And if, obviously, as Jonathan Northcroft did break last night, that Liverpool supposedly have met with the representatives, i.e., Gravenberch's father, it's amazing. It's absolutely spot on, mate. And yeah, it's for the player's quality. He's got a lot of quality to bring, and he's still 20 odd years old. He's big, he's 6'2", 6'3", very mobile, versatile. Predominantly plays on the right hand side of a midfield three, and of course, if Liverpool sort out the sixth position, but I think that boxes off one of Liverpool's midfield positions for me, mate.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I 100% agree with you. I think we talk about a Wijnaldum replacement, and for me, Gravenberch is very much on those lines. Like, again, can play as a 6, can play as an 8, but better probably as an 8 than a 6.
Yeah, he's better as an 8 and a 10, really. Yeah. But yeah, no, you're spot on there, mate. I don't know what you reckon, because Jurgen Klopp's always had this fascination in chat. Dutch midfielders, but you look at Marco Grujic, that profile of player, like, it's a bit mad. Marco Grujic, he was 6'2", 6'3". He was a monster, Grujic. But it's interesting if Jurgen Klopp does go the route of having more mobile, more physical midfielders, mate. I don't know how you feel with that. Obviously, we'll speak about McAllister a bit later, but he's about 5'10". He's not the tallest, but I think it's something that Jurgen Klopp has always wanted to do, and having like a big presence in midfield. Jude Bellingham, 6'2", 6'3". It must be a thing in terms of the scouting system at the minute. Nunes, 6'2". Gakpo, 6'3". Are we building a team of giants? I don't know.
Probably and hopefully. But you are right in the sense of, like, Liverpool have been looking for that type of player for the longest period of time. And I know, like, as Brian has mentioned in the comments down below, like, again, obviously Gravenberch was Jurgen Klopp's first ever signing. And again, it didn't work back then. But when you look at that profile of midfielder, Liverpool don't have that currently. Like, again, I wouldn't want to think who is the tallest midfielder in Liverpool's team. But probably...
I think it might be Bajcetic, 6'1".
Might be.
Hendo. I know Hendo's like 6 foot, but I'd say Stefan Bajcetic.
We can't take Thiago.
It's definitely not Harvey Elliott. He's my eyes.
Yeah, no, I would have said Fabinho.
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 Yeah, I was going to say.
But even still, like, we're going to have a look at the stats now in a moment. In terms of, again, and this is of course this season under Bayern Munich. You look at, attacking wise in terms of, and this is of course based off midfield stats as well. Again, you look at it, he's in the top 94%, top 93 in terms of goals and XG and that for a midfielder. But again, you look at the dribbling and progressive carries, and you look at the take-ons. That's what a Wijnaldum type midfielder did for Liverpool, was take the ball deep where pressure was. Again, press resistant, and then dribbled the ball into the final third and created chances for Liverpool. And I feel like we've missed that quite a lot, not only with just pressing in that instance. I think that for me, it's very much where Liverpool have missed, where you can take the ball from our final third and within 10 seconds being the opposition's final third.
And Jeff, we've missed goal since Steven Gerrard left the football club. Liverpool have had an inability to find a central midfielder that can score goals. it's so pivotal. You look at Manchester City and you look at obviously Arsenal this season, the goals in terms of obviously Odegaard, what he offers Arsenal in terms of going forward and everything, the brilliance. Bernardo Silva, obviously Kevin De Bruyne, and obviously the Foden. You can play in a lot of positions, but Liverpool since Steven Gerrard have really struggled to get goals from midfield, and that's probably been a thing that we've all questioned as Liverpool fans. There was so much of a burden on the likes of Firmino, Salah, and Mane for like the last 4 or 5 year period that for Liverpool to make the next step in terms of evolving our game, in terms of just getting that extra 5-10 points within a season to get you a league title. It's about in those tight areas in and around the penalty area and just breaking that ability to break the line. And as we'll speak with a certain Argentinian midfield a bit later, mate, that's what McAllister does. He breaks the lines, very comfortable with it in tight areas. Seen what he done in the World Cup. Gravenberch, as he brought up with those stats, mate, very much indicates that his ability on the ball in terms of driving through the block of opposition defences. And for this season's statistics, they're still very good going considering they're not a lot of games played. But I looked at, I don't know if you've got his statistics from the 21-22 season.
I haven't got them, but I have seen.
Yeah, I had a little look at the data last night as well, mate. And yeah, he was projected to be, if he had those numbers for the majority of his career, he would be literally in the top 5 of central midfielders in the whole of Europe, in all honesty, mate, because he was performing well above his expected development as a central midfielder at his age.
Yeah, no, absolutely, he was. As well, I will quickly try and see if I can find them as well. But we take a quick look anyway at the compared player side to it as well.
Mm-hmm.
You look at the list, and again, we've spoken about, of course, Alexis McAllister. Of course, we are going to speak in a moment. But of course, it's not only him. You know, you look at that top 6. Is of course players. You know, a lot of players that Liverpool have been linked with this season in terms of Turan, Conor Gallagher, obviously Jude Bellingham, Federico Valverde as well. Again, the list there, and again, it's a profile that Liverpool have looked at quite significantly, and I think that's, you know, judging just off of that. And again, it's not 100% going like, oh, Liverpool are just looking at a statistic website and going, oh yeah, that's so we want this, that, and the other. But it's the profile that Liverpool want and the type of player that they want as well.
The data's out there, mate. Like, and this is what I wish we would have done with Tchouaméni when he went to Real Madrid. Sound, if you can't get Tchouaméni, get your second or third option. Similar when we bought Mohamed Salah as well, chat. He wasn't on the top of Jurgen Klopp's list. It was obviously Julian Brandt, wasn't he? Yeah. And sometimes in football, the funny things do happen. And I'm hoping Liverpool do exactly what we're doing at this summer. If we can't get Jude Bellingham, which we're not getting him anyway, we know. But then sounds, go for your third or fourth or fifth choice anyway, because they've got all the statistical analysis, they've got all the data. It's been so successful in the past. I just don't get in the last 12 months why Liverpool have gone away from that, mate. In chat, like in terms of just being a bit more confident, trusting the data, and of course the science behind it as well. Because that's where you look at Brighton Football Club. They've probably got the best data analysis team in world football at this moment in time. Signing Caicedo for 5 million, McAllister for 7 million. And the list goes on in that team. Mitomo as well. The statistical analysis was right there in front of everyone. And you're telling me Liverpool and like the City and haven't got better resources at their disposal. It's about Liverpool pulling an Andy Robbo out of the hat. And I'm hoping we do that in the summer, mate. And hopefully Ryan Gravenberch is one of those players to very much do that.
Yeah, 100% agree with you. But I don't know if you knew this. I did a little bit of research into this. The head of Brighton's data analysis team recently joined Newcastle, which Isn't great at all, is it? But yeah, that's apparently a thing anyway. But if you guys also haven't seen it as well, obviously what makes Ryan Gravenberch such a intriguing one as well, and of course over the last 24 hours is of course former Liverpool player, of course Ryan Babel's post on social media as well. Obviously. Commenting on, of course, the news story on Instagram, and saying, great talent, needs a manager who believes in him and he will fly. And the interesting part about that, of course, was that Ryan Gravenberch actually liked this post as well. So, Ryan, we already know, we've already seen you in a red shirt before. So,
Hey!
again, if. Ow, Makendo, my eardrums.
Oh, sorry, chat. I got a bit expensive.
But again, I think all of us will be a bit excited if we do see Ryan Gravenberch in a red shirt as well anyway. But we will get into the comments and get into your guys' thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below as well. Let us know your thoughts as well on, of course, first of all, Ryan Gravenberch, and of course, the price tag as well. Because I think, again, like we mentioned earlier on, I think it is pretty much a bargain if that is the price. And again, with people, I think that's the big thing though as well from coming out of everyone's mouth is if he's only signed, within the last year, how is it that he is going to go for so cheap or relatively cheap? I think realistically, Bayern want funds no matter what. They don't want to mess around, and that's not the way they are.
Bayern are an absolute mess at the minute, mate. If you look at it, there's in-house. We know there's in-house fighting amongst the players. The hierarchy, you only have to listen to what the hierarchy of Bayern Football Club have been on about. Even they're at the throats of each other in terms of the recruitment policy currently going on in Bayern. I think with Ryan Gravenberch, it hasn't worked, but at the end of the day, you've got Joshua Kimmich and Leon Goretzka, two are probably the best midfielders on planet Earth, have been for like the last 5 seasons anyway. And their performances aren't going to deteriorate overnight. And as we know, tactically, Bayern Munich play with 2 6s anyway in a pivot. So that they don't typically play with a 4-3-3 formation. That would, of course, be Ryan Gravenberch's more favoured position in which he did play at Amsterdam. So, yeah, it's you look at his age, you look at his quality as well. And big up there, Asif. I definitely disagree with what you said there, mate. He's not an average player. It's average players don't end up in the Ajax academy. In all honesty, you look at the depth of quality Ajax have produced over like the last 60 years in football. You look at the money that's been generated from Amsterdam. Of course, there might be the 1 or 2 anomalies really to that, but the large majority of players that have come out of there and the likes of the Sport and Lisbon academies, the Benficas in Portugal as well. Yeah.
To be fair, Brian's actually mentioned a really good point that I actually forgot about as well. The fact that Bayern are signing Konrad Laimer on a free transfer at the end of the season.
So that makes it even more difficult for him to get in.
Yeah, exactly. So, and again, that's without any Thomas Tuchel's ideas that he has as well. So again, I would and as Brian has said, Fabrizio Romano did say that he's not happy with his playing time as well, which again is understandable as well. But yeah, I would disagree with this comment as well, Asif as well. But again, thank you very much for coming in, mate, and having your thoughts and opinions as well. But Gravenberch is a prospect, not guaranteed, but a 25 million worth exploring as well. That's the thing. That, as well, even it's the fact that the data is there, and even in a poor season or quote unquote poor season, it's still very good considering. Like again, I'll see if I can get up the Eredivisie season that he had. The numbers in that in terms of the greens was excellent, and he's either in the top 95%. Or just below it, and I mean like 92, 93%.
Hence why he got his move to Bayern, mate. And chat, and anyone listening or whatever, I will tell you 2 names, and you go, sounds. Kevin De Bruyne and Mohamed Salah. Both in terms of their career projection. Obviously, Mo at Basel, went to Chelsea. Everyone called him a flop. He's a 6 season wonder now. Lost count.
Six.
And Kevin De Bruyne, serial Premier League winner as well. And there was pundits on Sky questioning his move to Manchester City a very long time ago. I think it was from Wolfsburg anyway. So, yeah, funnier things have happened. Just because a player moves to a club and he doesn't play a lot of minutes doesn't automatically make them a bad player overnight. Fair enough if you're buying a player, say, for example, from bloody QPR or a team that is lesser known quality. Say, for example, when we bought Stuart Downing, the likes of Benteke's as well. Big fishes in small ponds, no respect to those teams. But when you're buying players that are probably the best in their team and you haven't quite made that elevation, but I tell you what, Ryan Gravenberch, yeah, he's the real deal. And people might go, and of course, he hasn't played a lot for Bayern. Just look at who's ahead of him in that team. And given his age as well, and given how poor Bayern have played this season, just look at that the first leg. They're an absolute bloody mess, not just on the pitch, but off the pitch as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm going to quickly get up his stat anyway, if that will come up, as it has done. But yeah, as you can see, they, like, just in basic, like, again, you look at just the dribbling statistics. If we quickly make that big screen, again, you're looking, again, 88%. Again, the numbers I'll quickly see if I can zoom that in.
No, I can see that.
But again, even when there we go. When you make it, again, he's in the top. It's either like 85% or high 90s. Again, shot action created. Again, the dribbling statistics, again, that's unbelievable. And again, people will go, oh, well, that's in the Eredivisie. But then again, Frankie de Jong, Eredivisie, went for a tremendous amount of money. And again, when you think about it and look at midfielders aren't sold through history. They aren't sold at a big price. It's always I think when you go through the top 10, I think most sold midfielders, or the highest priced sold midfielders, the majority of them don't work out. It's always the small transfer ones that are always the legacy signings in terms of, they went on to make history and so on. Again, it's not everyone that works out, but it's the majority of them do.
Yeah, Chantal, if you pronounce that right, is absolutely spot on. Just naming all those players as well. Just get back to basics, and that's fundamentally what Liverpool. You get the nail on the head there. That's what we need to start doing. None of this. Oh, we'll buy players for the sake of buying players. Like, as I said, and I keep on going on about it, Brighton, we should be analysing their football club in terms of getting people to do bloody degrees on what. I'm pretty sure there'll be bloody people getting degrees on analysing what Brighton have done, because that is the formula of the success. Bare minimum spend, and you're getting. Look at bloody Benfica as well. They've made like £1 billion in terms of transfer revenue as a football club. Ajax, the multi-millions. Of course, you don't want to be a buy-to-sell club, but when you look at the finances that are getting thrown at the likes of Benfica and Ajax, like, it's a successful model. Yes, I did. Obviously, Liverpool now, we're in a great position, Connor, and chat that we used to be a selling club. Now, of course, yeah, we're allowed to be able to give Salah the contracts and other players. Alisson, of course, will be getting a new contract. Van Dijk and Trent will be signing new deals in the next 2 years, because obviously that's where their contracts are coming up for renew. And quite rightly, they deserve to get paid top dollar. But yeah, Chantal, spot on. Just get back to the basics. It doesn't just because it's the modern day thing, innit, Con and chat. It's the modern day social media, like, and this is why people drag down Darwin Núñez. Oh, you spent 70-80 million pounds on him. They're so desperate for him to be a flop, but he's only like four goals off beating Drogba's record in the Premier League. So yeah, but 25 million in today's market, spot on. Yeah,
ridiculous. Yeah, absolutely as well. But you absolutely nailed it, hit on the nail on the head as well. And again, just because, for example, like a Bayern Munich, it hasn't worked out, is again not necessarily that it won't work out at Liverpool. Look at for example, again, I mentioned it earlier on, look at Gini Wijnaldum. Gini Wijnaldum come into the club as a winger, and when everyone went and looked at it, it was like, well, he doesn't have the style of like what Jurgen Klopp is looking for from a front three type player. But again, look how wrong we was about Gini Wijnaldum as a whole at the beginning, and look how since he's left the club, we've been desperate for another player like that.
That's what makes the best managers and coaches gone and chat. That's what makes the best coaches the best coaches. Getting that right blend. Because Liverpool this season, we haven't had the right balance. And that's the key word. Liverpool need to get the right balance in the summer. We need to get Fabinho, need to get him back into full fitness. But if he can't, go out and sign a top class, one of the best.
It's not even that. It's just player profile. Like for me, what the annoying part about what we've done, we've took on from the midfield that was so successful into trying to be a technical midfield. But it's for me, what Liverpool need to do is like A, go back to the basics, but B, get the player profile of a Wijnaldum, of a Fabinho, of a Jordan Henderson. I think we'll do a show on it at one time as well. But if you look at that season individually, if you look at all the data, if you, like, for example, like we looked at the players as similar to Ryan Gravenberch, you look at the players who's similar to all of it, it's Jordan Henderson that is like in the top two for each and every single one of them. And that's what we need again. We need a player that can do everything, but also is unique to one position as well, and just a profile. If it doesn't matter if we sign someone, like you said, like look at Brighton that are signing players for 4, 3, 2 million. If they fit the correct criteria, get them. No matter the name, whoever they are, get them in. Because again, we can see what Jurgen's done. We've seen what he's done and how successful he's been with the correct and, like you mentioned, the balance of the team and the balance of the midfield. For me, I would be more happy Liverpool's midfield being the defensive block, scoring less goals and having more success from it than having the scoring, we need to go and buy a midfielder that scores 10, 15 goals a season. Yeah, it'd be nice on top of that, but we need that robust midfield that was everywhere, all over the pitch.
And that's massively, we've all watched this Liverpool side. Gon, you spot on in chat. He's absolutely, Gon's going to go through all his comments, but everyone's spot on. We've come massively away, as Connor alluded to, from what made us good in terms of Trent. Trent never he doesn't venture past the halfway line now, and he hasn't for like the last 7 months, and he's getting absolutely torn to shreds because we know Trent is better at the other end of the pitch. But if we can get a 6 or 2 mobile midfielders or 3 mobile midfielders, as we said, Hendo done a tremendous job when he had legs. So did Fabinho when he had legs, and Liverpool's midfield when it actually had legs. But that's the big key, mate, and you're spot on. We need to, and I'm pretty sure Jurgen Klopp's and the coaching staff have sat down and reevaluated. You will, at the end of the year, go, what has gone wrong? There's a lot of factors have gone wrong, of course, not recruiting in the right seasons, right moments. But first and foremost, the identity of Liverpool's midfield is completely not what we wanted to need, because you're expecting a young 19, 20-year-old Harvey Elliott to get up and down that pitch. First and foremost, he hasn't got the physicality. He hasn't got the engine to do so. He's a floating 10. He's a wide player that likes to create. And we're telling Harvey to be bloody a box-to-box midfielder when that's not his role.
No, like you look at it, like in particular, Harvey's position is number 10 out on the wing type style. It's like last season, me and you went to the preseason game against Atletico Club, and it worked so well because you had Mo as that inside forward, you had Harvey out wide, Trent out wide as well, but coming inside at times as well, and it looked balanced. But this season, it looks nothing compared to what it did last year because you haven't got the runners and you haven't got the protection as what we have done over the years with Fabinho and Jordan Henderson.
Yeah.
And it is just, again, we need those type of midfielders back, I would say. But
you've got like midfielders. We've all watched this Liverpool team. You've got central midfielders or midfielders. It's a quote midfielders. You've got them pressing. We've seen how many times we've seen Thiago when he's been fit this season. Fabinho, he's literally trying to press, but you've got the other two midfielders, i.e., up the other end of the pitch, or you got Henderson across the halfway line. Trent's vacated up the field because. But I think we've massively stifled what Liverpool have been doing so well. We've sacrificed Trent's game down the right-hand side due to the inability of the club to very much bring in midfielders that can do the job going forward, of course, but also doing that defensive due diligence, really. But I think once we get the midfield sorted and get the likes of Gravenberch and other midfielders in, I think we will see the best out of Trent, because first and foremost, opposition teams are petrified when Trent goes forward. We've seen glimpses of it this season, of course. We have the game against Arsenal, Nutmeg Zinchenko. That's the best of Trents. And then, of course, you'd have the games and everyone. But, of course, when it's Reece James or other right-backs in this league, everyone's quite quiet.
Well, look at was it yesterday against Brighton when he was going backwards against Matoma? Like that was very, very funny anyway. But
as Jose says, as I speak, I'll be in big trouble. So
very much so. But again, guys, let us know your guys' thoughts on the Ryan Gravenberch story as well. Ben's in as well. Hello, Ben. Saying I'd be a big lover of Gravenberch. Made the jump to a big club far too early. Seen the same with Renato Sanchez. That Ajax team, Andrew's in. Hello, Andrew. Saying that Ajax team, they had the Lit, De Jong, Tadic, Gravenberch, Tagliafico in the UCL season was insane. They beat Madrid, knocked out Juventus, got to the semis against Spurs. Gravenberch would be a bargain. Yeah, absolutely.
And that's a great point there, Andrew. And that goes to what we were just saying there, Con. That balance, everyone's having a go at Donny van der Beek, but that balance of that Ajax team that season. Yeah, there was Donny van der Beek, obviously the other fella, Frankie de Jong, and obviously the other midfielder that they had in that season as well. So it was it's about getting that right balance, and that's first and foremost what Liverpool need to start doing for the summer.
Yeah, absolutely. Gravenberch, McAllister, Mount. Excuse me. Gravenberch, McAllister, Mount, and a top-class DM. McAllister and Mount replace Ox and Keita. Nobody can say that's a downgrade. It's about a DM we get as well. Yeah, absolutely. I'm still concerned that a DM hasn't been solidly linked, but I have a feeling that Liverpool are doing a Fabinho in that regard, in terms of it'll be someone that hasn't got linked, someone hasn't been rumored.
Would you say, Con, as much as it disappoints us, but the current circumstances around the budget, Con, Liverpool, I think if we can get legs around Fabinho and you just tell Fabinho, right, there's your 15, 20-yard box and vicinity of the pitch. You do your defensive duties and just let those two players on your left and your right do the up and down movements, really, and covering the spaces.
One thing that I was, of course, we're going to do a potential signing video on McAllister. That's a little bit of a breaking thing for you guys watching. But I think what was so interesting with McAllister, I think what has been a misconception by myself, and I think plenty of other people as well, is that he's this like number 10 that's like just a specific number 10. But if you watch him in the World Cup, he was a lot more than that. Like he did all of the groundwork, all of the, like obviously it was him
played in a two-man midfield.
Him, Rodrigo de Paul as well. Them two were the guards then in that midfield. And of course you can't really. Of course we've been let down by signings from the World Cup. I'm not going to mention any names in that regard, but again, there was more of his game shown in that particular tournament than what I think we've seen it at Brighton. Because again, you've had the likes of like a Caicedo doing that job.
Yeah, and that goes to the balance as well, though, Connie, spot on. That Argentina midfield, in terms of the whole from left to right, it complemented each other so well. That team was built around Messi. And of course, that's where PSG have massively done a boo-boo this season in terms of just catering. It's basically having a Ferrari up front for Paris Saint-Germain, but then having an absolute banger at the back. But it's about, obviously, in terms of what he's got at Brighton as well, it all comes down to the right balance. Because I think if, say, for example, Caicedo come to Liverpool, but then he's got James Milner and Henderson either side, you're not going to see the best out of Caicedo. You need to get the right, adequate quality of players in the right pockets of space and in your team first and foremost, because it alleviates so much of Liverpool's game if we can actually get this midfield. It will literally click, and it's like, bloody hell, there we go. Liverpool are back, and we're not that far off. I know it might feel like it at the minute, but once Liverpool gets this midfield sorted, we're sound. We're back.
Yeah, as we're saying, we don't need to explore to take a punt. We need top quality players from the Dutch league. How many have been successful? Look at Man United with Anthony. I think the big problem with Anthony is, I agree in some sense, but I think with Anthony is the price tag. Like, look at how inflated that was. Is he worth 100 million? No, he's not.
I suppose you could go, Con, and that's if I don't really comment that. You could do that with every league and every window. Bloody hell! Like, you look at bloody Chelsea with signing the Ukrainian lad,
Mudryk.
like Mudryk. You could go every single season that's gone for like the last 10 years. Of course, there's going to be anomalies in terms of transfers, but for every good signing, there'll always be a negative as well. Look at Andy Robbo. Christ, I could literally remember what everyone was saying when I done my YouTube videos years ago. Why are we signing a whole relegated left back? Like, yeah, it's like, and look what we got in Andy Robinson. We sold Kev Stewart for a similar fee, and we brought in Andy Robbo.
It was practically a free transfer, wasn't it? Because I think we bought Robbo for 8 and sold Kevin Stewart for 8.5.
So yeah, if we can do what we've done with Andy Robbo and certain other players in this team, Shaqiri done a job, of course, didn't set the world alight, but it was worth it for those Barcelona crosses. Go ahead, son. In a certain night semi-final. But yeah,
and get Mourinho sacked as well.
Oh yeah. He loved the cheeky goal against United. He does.
Yeah, no, he did absolutely.
Big shot.
What happened to our scouting department? Good times don't last forever. Nothing. Again, it's been obviously with the sporting directors leaving, obviously Michael Edwards and Julian Ward, Ian Graham as well, the head of data, as well as also leaving behind the scenes as well. And again, they haven't replaced him as far as I know. I could be wrong with that though, because I think, again, it all jumbles together with the sporting directors and the data analysis. I think they might have replaced him, but again, I'm not entirely sure by that.
And that goes to a point of what we've all said, Con, in chat. Just let the people do the jobs at the football club. Like, we've prided ourselves in like the last 5 years, like our success rate in signings. For every Robbo, you've got your Naby. But there's a 90% of Liverpool's transfers in the Klopp era have more or less been on the money. In all honesty, we've had the best opportunity. Darwin Núñez, big transfer fee. As much as it disgruntles all the rival fans, he's going to be a very successful signing. Similar with Gakpo, bloody hell, Christ almighty. People were writing Gakpo off after 4 games. And I was like, what he is watching? He's doing absolutely everything perfect. The lad's just come into a new system, very different. He's playing a central role. Obviously, a PSV anyway, he was more notably playing down that left-hand side. PSV bloody season ticket holder saying to me, he's not a natural 9. But if he's developing, he's learning, and he's having that understanding, he's going to be sound, Gakpo. And I think he will be long time. Ideally, I'd like to see him, but I think long term, I think we will be seeing Darwin Núñez down that left and Gakpo through the middle. But it's exciting times, and it's that young profile of players as well. Because when we signed Salah, when we signed Mane, and when we signed Firmino, you were at an age where it was young, wasn't it? It was like 25, 26 years old. And we've seen that upward trajectory really in terms of building a consistent team selection really, and that'll only bode well.
Well, you look at, for example, if, like, of course, like we're going to talk about tonight, obviously McAllister and Barella as well. If you think of like the future, Gravenberch 20, McAllister 24, Barella 26, Bajcetic 20. Well, Bajcetic what,
He just
18?
turned 18, 19.
Yeah, like
Ridiculous.
Harvey Elliott 19, Fabio Carvalho if he's eventually sorted out again, looking same age.
Trent's still 24. I think a lot of people forget that. Like, ridiculous.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Let's get through your comments then, guys, and then of course we'll move on to the McAllister news as well. One will always be Star Express as well.
Big up Gary.
Gary. I'm already going to say it. Darwin Núñez, he will shine next season.
I can't wait until he's speaking scouts in all these interviews. Like, he hangs around with Curtis Jones and Trent quite a lot. And I think we've seen Trent and Curtis Jones this season learning a bit of Spanish. I know Scouse for a lot of people is a completely separate language in itself. Especially when these YouTube captions probably aren't even translating what I'm saying now. But yeah.
No. Again, this is why maybe we should put translation on, but again,
no chance.
Yeah, we'll be here all day. But either way, we can't forget centre back. We need one of them as well. Yeah, again, obviously, I think there's there is a numerous amount of positions that could need strengthening.
And there's always, and Connor and chat, we'll throw that debate into the atmosphere anyway. Everyone's been saying it. If you could save 100 million if you put Trent in midfield. Like, he was in his youth days. He was converted to be a right back, but it's yeah.
I still think he's better right back, if I'm being perfectly honest. But that's just my opinion. But again,
it wouldn't surprise me. I wouldn't put it past us to put him into midfield.
Next summer. Wait, what? No, kidding. Also, guys, your thoughts on Jacob Ramsey? Absolutely brilliant and so humble. He just gets on with his game, and he's English as well. Brilliant little midfielder. Again, would be massively expensive because, again, English, and at the minute, Villa have absolutely no reason to sell whatsoever because they're in a brilliant position at the present moment in time.
Villa getting Europe, Chas. You know,
yeah, well, we spoke about that earlier on Jack's channel as well anyway. But wonderful midfield for Villa. Yeah, absolutely. Doug saying as well, smash that like button, guys. Yeah, as well. Again, there's 27 people in right now. So, again, if anyone is new around here, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well and hit that share button as well. But yeah, 26 likes as well, says Doug. Anfield Lark is in as well. Hello, hopefully you're on a fantastic day, mate. Saying defo need a minimum of a centre mid and a DM top level as well. Manuel Ugarte, that's all I'm going to say. Even though he hasn't got linked to Liverpool properly.
They're out there, Liverpool, just get bloody signing them. And you don't need to whack £100 million on every player. Just do what Brighton and Brentford have been doing.
Or wait until Wolves sign them and then go, oh yeah, we're interested in the player. For God's sake. Can't tell. Javi is going to be a superstar. His left foot build-up play is phenomenal. I think too many injuries and form have not allowed him to progress as well. Yeah, I think, absolutely. I think what I think people are underestimating as well is the fact he's been available for every single game this season. Of course, he hasn't. I think he's only missed one game.
Off the back of a bad injury last year as well. I think everyone forgets that.
Yeah, no, they do. So then again, the only player outfield that has been available the entire season as well, which is madness as well. But fair play to Harvey. The loss of Bobby and Marnie pressing is huge as well. Yeah, absolutely. They set the tone and the traps as well. Absolutely, I would agree, 100%. McAllister, Barella, and I'm guessing that's Núñez from Gary.
I like Núñez though, Gary. How much do you reckon we'll get for Núñez? I'm actually at Núñez.
It sounds like a non-licensed player in PES. Like, no jet, not for me. Fabinho needs proper competition.
Oh yeah, he does. Yeah, he does need competition. 100%. Because we've all watched that Fabinho, and we've said on countless videos the drop off in terms of performance. It's been a while since I've seen that. I probably, especially in my 27 years of supporting the Reds, I haven't seen a player just drop off so quick. But as we know, I think Fabinho, for like the last couple of years, has been doing the legwork of three midfielders all in one. But yeah.
No, absolutely. Did you see Kepa and Sterling coaching the Chelsea back three during the stoppage on Saturday? Hilarious to watch. Nope, I
Well,
didn't see that.
I missed that one, but
Yeah, I'll have to go back and see that as well. We need new signings. Who can we get up to full speed by half time as well? Says,
quick rolling sub there, Scouse.
Yeah, absolutely. Gakpo false nine and Nunes inside left as well. I think, as Eamon says, but I think Liverpool, are very much looking at if you could go 4-2-3-1. I think that's the thing. Maybe Cody in the 10. But again, it's all about different styles. I think with Liverpool, and Liverpool have that versatile option. With again, you could leave Nunes on the bench, have the likes of Diaz, Gakpo, Salah on the bench. Because for me, I still feel like Liverpool should be putting Nunes down the middle and not on the left. I feel like I personally feel Nunes is better down the centre, but again, I know plenty of people again, he's better as the inside left. But I feel like a little bit where he can get isolated at times. And I feel like that, again, not 100%, like, he can't play down the left ever again. But I feel like Liverpool should be doing what City have done with Haaland. Nunes is chaotic to deal with. And that's just my thoughts anyway.
Yeah, no, sorry there, I'm spot on. Interesting. I think it was mainly, obviously, with the Diaz injury this year. I think getting Nunes acclimatised to the Premier League. We've seen, bloody hell, Henry struggles when he comes into the Premier League. Players coming into the league, certain players like Suarez, bloody hit the Torres, bloody didn't even need any time. Really, they obviously put the performances in straight away. But look at Robinson, he was filtered in. Obviously capitalised on the Moreno injury. Players just sometimes need time. And of course, as football fans, every football fan were very impatient, especially in the modern era. We want everything now. Bloody hell, we want to sign it now. We want a performance straight away. And of course, given the money and everything, but I think acclimatising Nunes to the league this year, but I think it's not that it's helped having Luis Diaz out, because of course we've missed his quality. But even potential, we spoke about this, Con and Chas, potential formation changes going into next season. We need to be able to sign these midfielders, and they need to be a lot more adaptable, similar with the midfielders. But of course, any attacking players that we do sign as well, or defensive reinforcements, they need to be adaptable first and foremost. Because you look at City, Con and Chas, you look at City, all their players in their squad, and similar to certain players in the Arsenal system as well. Look at John Stones stepping into that sixth role this season, Zinchenko stepping into that role from a central area as well. You need to be very adaptable and being changing on the fly, and especially if Liverpool are to test a 4-2-4 or a 4-4-2 formation, 4-2-3-1. That's the one gripe that's got really on my nerves this season, Con, is Liverpool's inability within a game to change formation or system. And I'm hoping come next season, we are able to play a variety of systems and with large success as well.
Yeah, absolutely. 100% agree with you on that as well. But we will move on. Of course, we're not just going to speak about Ryan Gravenberch tonight. Anyway, of course, we are going to speak about Alexis McAllister as well. And what Fabrizio Romano has come out and said on his latest video, saying that Liverpool will have a meeting with Alexis McAllister's camp very soon to present their project. Now, you guys will know that I brought the news to you that Liverpool, Chelsea, and Manchester United were all favourites for Alexis McAllister. Well, in that video, Fabrizio Romano does say that Chelsea and Manchester United, he is not a priority, but he is a priority for Liverpool Football Club. So, again, that's good news in that sense.
We're desperate, Connor.
Yeah, we are desperate. But either way, the fact that, again, we know Liverpool like to get business done and dusted quite early in the window. And again, judging from what Fabrizio Romano has said about this, he will leave Brighton at the end of the season, and both the club and the player want it done as soon as possible. which again is good news for Liverpool in that sense. But I think the big problem for McAllister is price tag. What is his price tag? Because again, there was conflicting reports last week. Some say that he was around the high 50 mark. I think there was a other one as well. I think a Brighton journalist was like a Brighton one, nothing less than 60 million, which again is that around that price. So again, for 60 million pound, is McAllister worth that? And will Liverpool go for that much, considering the fact that again we're meant to be going for the amount, like not we're meant to be going for quality, but we're meant to be going for numbers as well.
Yeah, the thing with I'll answer that question from my point of view, mate. Chat, let us know. I done 95% of the World Cup games, and I watched the majority of the Argentinian games, and it was for me, and everyone will go, of course. World Cup quality and then Premier League quality, very completely different. But what I seen in the glimpses anyway, in terms of watching him, it was a player that was able, and given what he's been doing for Brighton since he's moved to the club as well, he's really elevated his game and his ability to deal with high pressure environments. And I think if he did come into Liverpool or another top team anyway in and around Europe, I think he's got that ability to, and first and foremost, the composure and the quality as well. But he ticked all the right boxes in terms of breaking the lines. Everyone watched bloody Brighton this weekend against Chelsea. He absolutely battered them. And if the balance is so right, just keep on saying it, but it was. But if you're going to bring in McAllister for whoever it is, I think you need to bring in, obviously, Caicedo as well. I think if you don't, whatever club buys these players, I think if you don't buy them, you buy them as a package, first and foremost. Because how many times have you seen in around Europe teams buying, like, say, a centre half? It's about getting the right balance, first and foremost. Unless it's an anomaly when you look at, like, obviously that great Leicester side, Mahrez and Kante. Kante made Drinkwater look like a bloody Steven Gerrard in that league season because he was the right partner. Bloody Kante done the legwork of 5 midfielders in that campaign. But I think very special player, 50, 60 million. Value's gone out the winter con now. There's no value in the modern era of football. Like,
well, this is why Gravenberch for 25 million looks an absolute
ridiculous
bargain.
steal.
Yeah.
No,
absolutely.
Dom Solanke, we sold Dom Solanke for that amount of money, and we sold Jordan Ibe for 15 million. And there's some fridges out there. Harry Maguire, you got 80 million for him. Then sounds, yeah.
I don't want that getting clip, please chat. Anyway, but no, I'm kidding. He's an absolute fridge.
It's right. Harry Maguire's been clipping himself all season with all those bloody great own goals.
That is very, very true. Anyway, but to be fair, in terms of Alexis McAllister, which is just looking at something now in terms of, we all say and we all look at City's midfield and we always go, Liverpool need that midfielder, like a type of a Bernardo Silva or a Gundogan. And I feel like Alexis McAllister could be that for Liverpool. You've seen, of course, we know how good Gundogan was under Jurgen Klopp. Obviously, he's been, just as better, or if not on that same level under Pep Guardiola. But we've missed that type of midfielder that in any circumstance. Like, you look at the last game of last season, Gundogan comes on, scores 2 goals. Like, Liverpool don't have a player that can do that, like in the midfield. Like, we can't just bring somebody on, change a game completely, and there you go. Yeah, maybe if you brought on a Thiago, in that sense, but I mean, like, in terms of a final third, finishing and winning and scoring goals and assisting, Liverpool don't have that from the midfield, I feel. And again, McAllister, in my opinion, I think Liverpool should go all out for Caicedo and McAllister. But I think if Liverpool was to go on and just get McAllister, I'd be okay with that. But again, it's that terms of DM.
Yeah, the biggest cog, and you've literally took the words out of my mouth there. The biggest cog in that Manchester City system for me is Rodri. The likes of the names that you've mentioned, De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva. Of course, they do the legwork, and especially Bernardo Silva. I think when you look at his running statistics under Pep Guardiola since he's come in, they're literally off the charts. But I think that Manchester City midfield doesn't work if you don't have the likes of a Rodri or you don't have the likes of Fernandinho that do that legwork. And similar when you look at the great Barcelona side, Sergio Busquets, you look at Casemiro at Real Madrid as well in Champions League games, allowing the likes of Kroos and the likes of Modric as well to play their game. So it's about getting the right balance anyway. But yeah, McAllister, as I said, I'm not 100% sold on him. He's a very good player, but I'll be intrigued to see the combination of Liverpool's midfield come what next season. Because I mean, if we can get a Gravenberch or add two other midfielders, but it's going to be intriguing. I think it's going to be a domino effect, in all honesty, Con and chat. We will see a bigger picture. Say if Liverpool go out and buy a Saicedo or a 6 to give, of course, Fabinho that much needed competition. And then you've got either side of him, two fresh midfielders, i.e., if that's a Gravenberch or another two midfielders. It'd be exciting, mate. I'm really looking forward to the summer, mate, because I think it has to be spot on.
We're always like this, McKindo. Yeah. Like we all are full of optimism, and then like
and then it gets to the last day of the season, and we're getting bloody Arthur. You're like, oh, what are we doing?
Remember, like deadline day, I think the both of us did a deadline day stream, and we were like, oh, we're confident about today. Like, Jurgen said that, oh, he's got things wrong, or we're definitely going to go after a quality midfielder. Arthur Mello is the quality midfielder that we were.
Cue the memes here of just jumping out of a window and everything. Like it's.
I think I looked at the data and I was like, oh, you know what? I can see why Liverpool have done it, and then I'm like, yeah.
It was Jurgen Klopp and with the owners that done it for me, Con and chat.
The Bournemouth game.
Yeah, we were like, oh my god, what's John Henry sanctioned here? And of course, these sanctions. He sanctioned a Milner contract probably, and the extension, or the loan of Arthur Mello, who Arthur Mello's basically used Liverpool Football Club as his summer training camp to get fit for next season.
Yeah. So Jesus Christ. I found it funny when I think was it Fabrizio Romano come out and was like, "Oh, yeah, Liverpool will not activate," and I was like, "Of course we're not going to activate the £37 million release clause that's in the contract. Like, yeah, we're not going to do that. We're not that stupid."
Oh, mate, if that happens, then I'm deleting my channel, mate. And I'm completely gone off
hiding.
YouTube.
We're hiding.
If we buy Arthur Mello. I think you'll see the whole of Liverpool YouTube and social media implode well and truly.
Do you know the meme with the guy with the pizza and the fire? Like, that's literally going to be everyone on Twitter, social media. Just walking into a room, it's like burning of
What is it, the meme that's coming to my mind straight away? What's his the fella that done the grease? Joe, when he comes in with a pizza.
Oh, with the chips.
What's the famous actor? I think
John Travolta.
Yeah, John Travolta. Yeah. If you're not on social media, he comes in. It's a meme of him with his coat going, looking like, and he'd be like, "Oh, Liverpool, what have we done?" But there's no room for mistakes this season, Con. No. We've done plenty of shows, all of us, every Liverpool fan up and down the bloody land. It's such a pivotal season because, tell you what, if we don't get it sorted, you got to look at Villa. They're going to be spending. Unai Emery's doing a tremendous job. Brighton, Brentford. Depends how many bets Ivan Toney's continuing to put on. How many suspensions he's going to be getting.
When is his suspension? Because he got found guilty. So yeah. It's like when did he when is he going to get his ban anyway? But I just want to bring this forward as well. I forgot to bring it up in the Gravenberch situation. Of course, obviously David Ornstein saying that Liverpool ultimately decided that it was more important to focus on a number of positions when they spent, and I do think they will spend heavily as opposed to pooling all the resources into one player as well, which of course is um, obviously would be amazing in that aspect of things. Well, you guys wasn't meant to see that either. But while Jack is not here anyway, we are, of course, going to move on to Nicolai Barella obviously now. Of course, and the only news on Barella is that Liverpool scouts have watched Nicolai Barella thoroughly this season and has understood that the Italian midfielder will push for a move away from Inter if they fail to qualify for the Champions League, and that's according to Peter O'Dark, I think, or Dirk, I think his name is. In that regard, again, apologies if I have butchered his name.
I'm back. Sorry, David.
But yeah, obviously, I'll go back to the Barella news for Jack.
Yay!
Obviously, Liverpool scouts have watched Nicolai Barella thoroughly this season, has understood that the Italian midfielder will push for a move away from Inter if they fail to qualify for the Champions League. Now, I do think that Inter would be I think they would consider a sale, of course, because they are in financial trouble at the moment. But that feels to be the sense of it every single summer. Obviously, I think last season when 2 seasons ago when they sold Hakimi and Lukaku in the same summer, I think obviously that was a must-need funding as well. But obviously, if we was to, obviously we know with Gravenberch and McAllister, do you think Barella is possible? Now, I know for you, you'd say yes, because again...
Hang on. Have I still got my background? Yeah, chat, let's go.
Probably.
The beauty... There we go. Yeah. Yes! There we go. Got me Barella pyjamas if you want me to put them on as well.
When he signs, potentially, you might be able to. But do you think Liverpool will move for Barella if they can in the summer?
I think it comes down to chat as well, the availability of certain players. You look at Ryan Gravenberch, who Liverpool have expressed, by all accounts. We spoke to Ryan Gravenberch's agents, Entourage. And if Liverpool inquire about Barella, and if it's the right price, first and foremost, I think if you can get Barella for 45 to 50 million, I think that's an absolute bloody steal. And of course, people will go, Aquilani! And like Aquilani, they have PTSD of the Roy Hodgson days.
What I said like 2 days ago.
Yeah, the PTSD. We're like, oh my god, it's going to be another Aquilani just because he's Italian, and of course everyone goes, oh, Italians haven't really settled in the Premier League, but what's Barella is different gravy. Like basically, Aquilani is Jay Speeden, and then Barella is Thiago Alcantara. A World Cup winner, whatever he's won, it's night and day, in all honesty. Barella, if he come into Liverpool or if he come into a Manchester City, he's got all the attributes to very much thrive. I think people go, oh, he's Italian and everything, and look at Jorginho. Jorginho is a completely different player to obviously Nicolo Barella anyway. Barella's got legs, which is a massive positive for any midfielder that comes into Liverpool, because we massively missed that. But it's his defensive qualities as well that really stand out in the system at Inter Milan. You look at Dumfries, very similar in terms of Trent, the way in which he pushes up down that right-hand side. But yeah, I've been waxing lyrical at Barella for the last couple of seasons now. I think he's the most ideal Liverpool target, first and foremost.
Thiago replacement, potentially?
No, he plays down that right-hand side. I think... Barella, he plays obviously a 5 system, 5 in midfield anyway, with 2 strikers up at Inter anyway. But he's more favoured to play down that right hand side of a midfield 3 or midfield 5, depending on obviously what formation you do play. But he's very capable on his left foot, and he's a midfielder that can actually bloody dribble past about 5 midfielders. He's so good with the ball at his feet. He drives, he breaks the lines as well. And yeah, he's got so many good attributes to his game.
Yeah, absolutely agree, 100%. Anthony says, could we see Carvalho leave on loan next season or be Bobby's replacement? I think, I don't know, it's a 50-50. I think he might go on loan, but it has to be the right club. Again, like with Harvey Elliott with Blackburn, maybe a Burnley or back to Fulham, potentially. Paul says it looks like Bellingham is staying at Dortmund for another year. Guys, just heard that news. Yeah, I think it's obvious now, considering the fact that Liverpool pulling out, and the fact that today the news coming out about Toni Kroos as well with Real Madrid, him staying for an extra year. So I think, again, we're going to be in the same boat in 12 months' time, where it's like, come on then, guys, where's Bellingham going?
And that's the thing. We've said this about, and chat's already alluded to at the top of the show, didn't they, Con? Ryan Gravenberch, you look at his upward trajectory. He went to Bayern, and his career's stumbles at the minute, not being given the opportunity. Of course, a player about Bellingham's quality, if you bring it into City or Real Madrid or wherever, you expect him to be the first name on team sheet. But it was very interesting, and we've all seen that Gerrard interview from a couple of weeks ago. Yeah. He said himself, Jude just needs to keep his head down, continue doing what he's been doing, developing and learning, because another 12 months or another 6 months in the Bundesliga will do him the world of good.
The other thing as well, Liverpool, like, in a sense, like, I think, was it Florian Plintenberg mentioned?
Connie, you're doing it to yourself.
No, Liverpool have
and
the
chat,
money.
We all are.
We all are, and I'm definitely 100% still in.
I can see you. I can see your brain thinking, "Oh,
yeah, no." But in my opinion, if Liverpool can sort their crap out in the next 12 months, look a better side, and are comfortably Champions League again, I think then you have if he doesn't sign a new deal and there isn't a release clause again, obviously, I think the price will come down, because again, the contract will be 2 years instead of 3. But with that as well, it allows Liverpool to put everything then into Jude Bellingham and nothing else. We know Liverpool need more surgery this season, because this summer coming up, because again, it's been the entire shambles. But if things go correct, and I know the guys in the chat,
chat's having PTSD to Aquilani by the looks of it, and fully expect that chat as well.
Yeah,
me too. We've gone a long way since playing on Channel 5 in Europa League. Remember that.
To be fair, when we've gone from speaking about Barella, Gravenberch, to speaking about freaking Dos Sena in the chat, we've had.
That Jungle. That he had the best week of his probably life that week. He scored against Real Madrid and Manchester United. Christ, if you put that on your racket, you would have been a bloody multi-billionaire.
No.
Probably could have bought Liverpool that day.
You put that on a player profile, 110 million, 100%. Like, don't tell me anything else. Bang, he scored against Man United, he scored against Real Madrid. And show me that man right now.
Show me those banter of Liverpool.
That was in a season where we did win the league as well, to be fair. But Barella as well.
Italians, they have.
He was
which is mad. Like, you think about like the legendary Italian players down in history. Of course, in the 90s and like the early 2000s, the Serie A was classic. The legendary players, we all know them. Anyway, bloody list is endless.
Well, it was the 90s when it was Serie A.
Serie A was what the Premier League was now, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. Like, again, you had all the players going to Serie A, and you had all like the kit sponsors, the kits. Like, you look at, for example, kit manufacturers and look at the kits like back in the 90s in the Serie A, amazing football kits. Like, and even still now. But again, if you look on retro sites, 90s like Florentina kits, like amazing football kits.
That's what probably brought the majority of us into football, like as kids or as young adults. Anyway, like that era of Italian football, bloody hell. Like look at that 2005 team we played.
Oh yeah, bloody hell.
That AC Milan side, we won, happy days, but it's still back. It's amazing, the beauty of football, the beauty of Liverpool. Give us some great memories, but on paper, we should never have been beating that team.
Absolutely not.
No way.
No way. Like, if you went to someone, right, that's Liverpool's team, that's Real Madrid, that's Milan's team. Pick which one, who won, without knowing the result. 99% to pick Milan's team. 1,000%. Yeah. As well, anyway. But when you was a kid, everyone wanted the Milan kits. Yeah, absolutely. City going to win the league, looks like.
Aye, yeah. They bottled it. I think Arsenal was speaking to Ray, and we were saying Connor today, look, probably all of us, and watching that game. Yeah, it was that Saka penalty. As soon as he missed that, they go up the other end, West Ham, and bloody Ramsdale throws it in the back of the net by the looks of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think the summer will be interesting to see at the very least as well.
Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, but guys, we are going to leave it there for tonight anyway. We have been going for an hour and 10 minutes, so I
been
didn't
good.
realise. It's been absolutely brilliant as well. Big thank you to all of you guys as well. Of course, we have spoken about Ryan Gravenberch. Just to quickly recap through everything as well. Yeah, we've been speaking about Ryan Gravenberch, of course. The news saying that Liverpool stepped up their interest in Ryan Gravenberch as well, who is available for £25 million. As well, obviously David Ornstein and of course Jonathan Northcraft as well has also said that again Liverpool have spoken to his representatives as well, which is great to hear as well. And what also makes it happy as well, of course, him liking that comment from Ryan Babel as well, saying again he needs a manager who believes in him and he will fly.
Just a quick closing point there, Con, in chat. Was it Enrique a couple of weeks ago?
Broke the news, and everyone said he was lying.
Broke the news, and at first I was like, "What does Enrique know?" But
Jose Enrique is the new source.
Jose Enrique's been warned by a club if we actually go and do sign him, you know, boy, you'll not be going to be playing in the Legend games for at least 2 games.
Well, either way, guys, just look at that. That's what Ryan Gravenberch looks like in a Liverpool kit. Anyway, but of course, we've also mentioned Alexis McAllister as well, and the news, of course, of Liverpool set to speak with his representatives as well in the next couple of days and weeks to speak about the project. And of course, we've mentioned Nicolai Barella as well, and Liverpool are apparently scouting Barella as well, and he'll be willing to move away if Inter Milan don't qualify for the Champions League as well. But before we do head off, Jack, do you have anything else to say before we do head off?
No, just bloody absolute legends. A massive thank you to everyone that's tuned in tonight. Obviously, we still got 22 in here. If you're not subscribed to Connor's channel, let's get Connor to 1,000 subscribers anyway. And bloody all the hard work he puts in. But a massive thank you to everyone that has spent the Sunday night this evening just watching, and hopefully you've enjoyed it, just speaking about the Reds and just having a good sound chat anyway, like you would in the pub anyway. But yeah, Con, massive thank you for having me on in chat. Have a lovely rest end to your weekend anyway, and obviously Monday is good, and the Reds are back in action tomorrow. Yeah, I will have my live stream watch along. You'll be having your post match out tomorrow as well, mate. So stay tuned on the channel. But everyone, nice one, lad. Enjoyed it.
Absolutely brilliant. And again, guys, yeah, if you're new around here, please hit that subscribe button as well. Please head over to Amphibro TV as well, and go and head over and subscribe to Jack's channel as well. And as well, we're on 17 likes, guys. If we can get to 20, then that would be amazing as well, if we could do that anyway. But of course, if there is any other breaking news, we'll bring it straight to all of you lovely people as well. And like Jack said, hopefully all of you have a fantastic rest of your weekend. Liverpool couldn't ruin the weekend, and let's hope they don't ruin Monday tomorrow.
We're winning tomorrow, chat, and then we're getting top 4. We can only hope.
That's the hope and dream. Who knows? Anyway, there's still a 7% chance that Liverpool get into the top 4 anyway. But until next time, guys, that is going to be it from me. I've been Connor from the Cup Council. We'll see you all later. Ta-ra.